It's Spirit Sessions, and welcome to November. We've gone through Halloween and All Saints Day, and now the new moon is starting to release everything that we've asked for releasing. And we're back into November and the beginning of winter in Canada, anyways, our official beginning. We're so glad you're here today. And we have a special fellow Canadian guest. And Kim van de Sandy from the Netherlands is my co host, and she's the one who brought us our special guest. So I will let you talk to her. In the meantime, please, everyone, share this out. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear your comments, and we'll pop them up on the screen, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook Live or later on our podcast. We invite you to share this out to your friends, because sharing is caring, my friends. And I'm going to send a little bit of sage out to all of you to clear out all the things you want to release from the summertime, from November, and welcome in all November's abundance and good gifts. So I'm going to put it over to my friend Kim van de Sandy, who will pull a card from her famous deck and first, and then she will introduce our guest speaker today. So I'm going to put it over to Kim with Miracle of Technology.
Yes, welcome everyone to a new episode. It's really exciting, and we're stepping into November already in the new moon energy. So I've picked a card of my deck, Activating the Flower of Love. And the card of now is the Void. And I really love this card because it shares about sometimes we can feel like, okay, I feel I'm moving forward, but nothing is clear. Because as we're stepping into the new phase of our being, sometimes the old is crumbling down and the new is not there yet. And that is the moment where magic starts to happen. Because when we let go of what we know, when we let go of the control, it's truly the aligned things that come on our path. So a sacred space of new beginnings and infinite possibilities. As you raise your vibration and accept and access higher wisdom, it seeks or it asks you to embrace the unknown and trust in the path that is unfolding before you. It is a little bit dark here, sorry. It's already night this way. To learn the new language of the higher frequencies that you are exploring. Although it may seem like you're in nothingness, they're discovering the transition of these new higher vibrational codes with your consciousness to expand beyond what you have known and tap into the infinite potential of the universe. So embrace the power of the void and open yourself up to the limited possibilities that await you. The void is a space of awakening, creativity, and heightened psychic abilities. Let the power of the void guide you towards your highest purpose. So this is really an invitation to be open this November and to really say yes to what you're here to bring and to be you. And I think that's also a beautiful bridge towards the amazing guest we're having today, because I'm excited to share another sacred conversation with Miss Liz. And we're going to serve a sacred tea, because this time the tea is about recharging, reflection, and releasing. And I will share a little bio, because it's really amazing what you're doing in the world, and I'm grateful to share this conversation. So Elizabeth Jean Olivia Gagnon is an accomplished best-selling international co-author, self-published international author, international keynote speaker, founder, creator of Miss Liz Teatime and parties. Really amazing. I would say check it out on YouTube and all their channels. And Global Peace Challenge 2022 Ambassador for Canada. With a background in human rights, social justice, and gender equality, Elizabeth is a passionate advocate for mental health, abuse, grief, and peace for humanity. As the I have not have the last, but I'm really grateful to share this conversation with you and to serve another sacred tea, or to share another sacred tea. So welcome.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm honored to be here. I've been really looking forward to this tea time.
Me too. Because last time it was a little bit with technology, because we had this beautiful call scheduled for August, but now it's finally here. And I really love what you're sharing with the world, and how you're helping by sharing your voice, how you're helping others to give a voice. And you've been doing that passionately in all the things you're creating. And it's really amazing. Maybe we can start, because you've created 3 beautiful books, and maybe to also explain what's your Teatime. Why did you start Teatime, and what was your message and your purpose and your voice with that?
Well, Teatime started actually in 2015 in my home. I had a tea party with a bunch of women. I am a survivor of domestic violence and abuse. So at the age of 39, I threw a tea party at my house. And one of the ladies that was there, she said, "Oh my God, can we do this in the community?" And I was like, "I don't know, we could try." right? So, and then we went to the community, and then we went to virtual, and so it just continued to grow. But the T actually came from my Oma, and that's where the three R's come in today: is recharging, nutrition, and releasing. It comes from my Oma. At the age of 4, she gave me a cup of tea, and she wanted me to do those three things. At that age, I didn't know what they meant. I was just like,
Mhm.
what are these words, right? But I
Yeah.
knew that I was going to have a hard life, and my Oma knew that, and she was actually teaching me the tea of life. And that's all I'm doing is I'm teaching the tea of life for everybody. And when I have people on my platform or in my home or at any of my events, I get them to serve their tea because I can't serve your tea. It only you can. But I can create the party. I can create the gathering. I can create the community.
Yeah.
And then we just have a good old time. And the Tea Parties was founded in 2015, September 15th. And it's continued, and we're in 2024. It's 9 years later, and we have some new surprises that are coming in 2025 that we'll talk about in a little bit. But Kim, like you mentioned, the books, I
Mhm.
wrote books last year and I released them on my birthday, and it was something that I wanted to do for myself. I wanted to create books to
Yeah.
tell people my story, but in an Alice in Wonderland kind of feel. um, so I'll share just a little bit about the books really quickly, and then we can talk a little bit more. So in book one, in this book here, and they're all available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, all of those good places. But these books are my story, and my story along with your story, because you have to do the work that's inside, because there's exercises in here. And what I've done is I've taken words. So you'll see T is equals teaching. So I use words. So when you come on my platform, I always ask you what your T is. So the TEA, that's where the hyphens come in. That's where the dots come in, because we got past, present, and future. So the book one is my past, and it's the story of my child abuse and overcoming that. And in this book, my grade 7 teacher, French teacher, actually wrote my forward for it. So it was really
Mhm.
nice. She taught 4 generations, my grandma, me, my mom, and my kids. So it
Oh,
was
wow.
nice to have. Um, and then it just shows a little bit of transformation. So you see the little Miss Liz to the big Miss Liz,
Mm.
so it just shows transformation, that our stories do make a difference. In book two, it's E equals education. And I shared a story of grief. And as you can see, the cup, it's pulling, right? You're pulling the tea out. So grief pulls on your heart, it pulls on the strings, but it
Mhm.
also changes your life when you take the time to grieve. Don't rush it. And again, there's more exercises in there. There's some adventures. There's some little tips on how I took the time to heal myself. And in that book, I share the stories of my daughter who passed and my living children who were put into care because of domestic violence. So it shows different types of grief. And I'm really real and raw with all of my T's. And then in book three, we have the A equals awareness, and awareness of mental health. I share my mental health story. I live with conversion disorder, and a lot of people don't know what conversion disorder is. And if you Google it, it'll say you're crazy in the head because there's no medical conditions but it's because of living with extreme trauma and not having the time to heal that trauma. So your body eventually says, you know what, I need a break, and it shuts
Mhm.
off. So there's days where I can't speak, I can't walk, I have a club foot, my speech is blurred, like I'm drunk. But it happens when I'm under a lot of stress. So doctors always say, well, stay away from stress. Well, good luck with that one. Like, who can stay away from stress, right? So what do? You serve tea and you have fun. And that's what I do. So those are my books. And on the A book, the awareness of community, connection, affection, being affected, have affection for yourself, you
Yeah.
know and all of the books I use words. So in the first one I use all T words, in book two I use all E words, and then in book A I use all A words. And it gets that conversation going, and it gets us using words to communicate again.
Hmm. It's so beautiful, and it's really, I honor you for sharing your voice and sharing your story. And it's really what I love in your share is how, in a way, like all the traumatic experience you went through and the challenges, and still in a way, but you're using it to inspire others. You're using it in a way that also empowers you or gives you a voice, gives you. But what has really helped you to express yourself, to step out of this space and to see like, okay, to shift it from the space where you are in, where you're now sharing tea with people from all over the world, and where you're now having these beautiful books and meeting people. And it doesn't, because I think that's an important thing as well. Sometimes we think, like, also when we're seeing us doing this, that our lives is always magical, and no, we're going through our own things, and we're constantly evolving and growing and being challenged. But still, there's something empowering to know, okay, we have a voice, and we know that we have resilience. And so I'm curious, like, what has really helped you to step up in the space where you are now, and to also inspire others to do the same? Yeah.
Well, for me, yeah, Kim and Rhonda, it's my spiritual journey. It's always been the spiritual side, the inner child in me that wants to just be heard and seen. I started writing in anthology books as well in 2017. I was following this lady, Brenda Hammond, and she had this book called Hear Me. And I didn't even know what the book was. It was just calling me. It was like, I need to know this woman. I need to know what this book is about. And eventually I reached out to her, and I found out that the book was about her story of being child abuse as well. Um, I was 4 when mine started. She was 5. So we had that connection, right? Stories connect us.
Yeah.
We go through similar experiences, but we have different pains, but we can understand one another when someone else has lived it as well, right? We don't feel so alone. So it's always been the spiritual side, the inner child in me that says, you know what, let's do this. I was a mouse. Like, if you ask anybody back home in Hearst, because I'm originally from Hearst, Ontario, up north, and they'll say, "Who is this Miss Liz? Like, who is Elizabeth today?" Like, that's not the kid that I taught in school. She was a quiet kid, always in the corner, always humming, always to herself, trying to stay not seen. And today I'm just like, hey, I'm here. My story matters, and so does yours. So let's have tea together and let's share it.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And there's also something that's what I noticed, like, also with creating books or writing your story down, even if you write it for yourself, there's something powerful that happens, because in a way we're giving this deeper voice within us an expression. We're acknowledging what has happened, and it is truly healing and compassion and self-loving when we're doing that, because we're giving ourselves the voice that we maybe didn't have as a child, but then we also get to inspire others by doing that. So it's really amazing, and it's really beautiful. And also with your podcast, where, like, you're already in season 5, so it's you've, from the being in your house, having a tea, serving a tea physically, now you're doing it in the world. How was that for you to do that then?
Well, for the first year, it was more for mental health. I knew something was coming right when COVID came. I just felt it. I felt like I was going to be put in another room again, like kind of closed in. So season 1 was more just for my health, my mental health, just to stay connected to people. Season 2 was, oh, okay, this is really good. And, that maybe this is the way we have to go, because I never knew that we were going to be reopened again and all of that, right? We didn't know how long we were going to be locked down. And season 3, it was no. Now my Oma's tapping me, and she's saying, no, it's time to stop playing. It's time to get the tea out there. Like, really get some. There's people there that will connect with you, that you'll be like, why me? What can I offer you? I'm just a lady that serves tea. Like, I've had from homelessness to Hollywood directors on Teatime, over 67 different countries on Teatime, over 150 topics. And sometimes I'm just like, but that doesn't resonate with me. Why am I serving this? But my Oma's on my shoulder, and she's tapping me, and she's like, nope, it's not about you. It's about them. It's their tea time. It's time for them to serve. And I said, oh, okay, get it. And my other grandma, who didn't give me tea, but she was my hero. She was my best friend. She would always ask me about my tea times, and she would always say, so who'd you get this time? What door did you open this time? And I'd be like, oh, well, this guest, well, how come they came to you? I don't know. Yeah, you do know. Like, she would push me to try and understand her tea a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's what tea time is, right? It's a gathering, it's community, it's connecting, it's conversation. You sit with people, and the conversations that you bring up at a tea time, it's like going to grandma's house and having tea. You talk about your celebrations, your wins, new babies, weddings, anniversaries, funerals. You talk about all of that stuff at grandma's house. And that's all I want to do, is I just want to have my Oma come to your home through me and say, let's have some fun and let's have a tea.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because I think in a way the world is getting sometimes very lonely. So I think it's beautiful. Like we have all these technologies, just like now that we get to share this conversation. We all live on different parts of the world, but still we can have this conversation in beautiful ways to really help others as well. So I think that's amazing. And how, like, because the three things, the recharge, reflection, and releasing, how has that helped your journey and also in what you've been creating?
Well, my Oma gave me that at 4, right? So when I
Yes.
got a little older, then I was understanding what those words actually meant. And that's why I
Mhm.
use words with tea time, because she gave me words.
Yeah.
And recharging was I need to recharge myself in order
Mhm.
to be able to serve. I need to recharge. And sometimes I need to close some doors. Sometimes I need to leave some tables. I need to recharge the way that I serve things or do things or approach things, and then the reflecting is just reflecting on how far you've come, like from season 1 to season 5, to who you had when you first started to who you have at the end. Because some people will not be at the end, they'll be at the
Mhm.
beginning but not the end.
Yeah.
Um you know and 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 releasing is something that my Oma always told me, just let it go, but
Yeah.
don't forget it, but let it go, because if you keep it in, it's going to hurt. And my Oma came from Germany. uh, she was a child of war, and she
Mhm.
she wasn't able to speak, and I think she was trying to tell me that when I got older, I would need to speak. I would
Yeah.
need to speak for the ancestors. I would need to speak for the older generation, have that voice that they didn't have. Back then they weren't able to voice
Mhm.
abuse and mental health and things like that. Where
Yeah.
today we can have that voice. We're still not at that point where we can break that ice, because there's still stigma on mental health. There's still stigma on abuse. Why did you not leave at that time? You had a chance to leave. Why did you not leave? Um, you have mental illness. Okay, so get help. Go to a counselor. Take pills. But that's not what mental health is about.
No.
There's so much other deep linings that we're forgetting to talk about and open those doors to. Like I tell everybody, okay, you have this diagnosis of conversion disorder, Liz. So what do you do with it? Well, you educate yourself, you research, and you understand why it's been diagnosed this way, you know,
Mhm.
because there's no medical tests that prove why your body does this. Is because they don't want to take the time to understand trauma.
Yeah.
People say, oh, well, I live with trauma. Okay, but what is trauma? What did
Mhm.
you go through? Take the time to listen. And I think that's where tea time is, that pause, right? Reflect, recharge, and release. Release the trauma. It's gonna be with you for life. The healing journey is a life journey, right? But you have to take that time to reflect on why the trauma is taking so much power over your mind and your body at this time. And it does that a lot to me. And I'm just like, okay, I woke up, I was in a good mood, I was good. Now my foot is dragging. What is causing this foot to drag? There's something that is triggering me. Either it's a smell, a scent, or, you know, um, somebody's words. Like, I'm very sensitive. Um, so I take a lot of things to heart. Um, I'm very open. And for years, I was a people pleaser. I was always, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. But I burnt myself out doing that. Now I say no, but in the back, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can do a little bit. And I
Mhm.
and then I have to pause and I have to say, no is no, you
Yeah.
know,
So important.
especially as moms, right? Because we say no to our children and then we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we
Yes.
can give them one candy instead of 10 candies,
Yeah.
like, but it's hard. It's a journey. And I think that's where we really need to just pause and say, okay, this is my journey. That's
Mhm.
your journey. But let's take the journey together, side by side, not in front, not in back, but side by side,
Yeah.
you know? And that's how I want to serve tea. I want to be that woman that's different. I want to do different. I don't want to work on how everyone else is doing it, because that's their story, that's not mine. So that's what I hope I bring to the table for all the listeners, and for anybody that watches this episode. Share it out. Let's just start being ourselves. We're gonna get judged either way, if we do it, if we don't do it. But let's have some fun, and let's live and have a story and legacy after to share with everyone else.
Yeah, because then I love that in your share, because then you're staying true to yourself. And that's the most important thing, because then we can give from overflow, and we can give from our authenticity and not give ourselves away. But I also love in your share, because it's so important, our body, however challenging, it's giving us a signal. I noticed I was ill a couple of years back, but it was a big signal of my soul that was saying, Kim, you now need to sit down, you need to listen. I wasn't ready to listen. It was inconvenient. I didn't want to feel. I was running away. And we all know these moments when we're going through that. And like also as a young mom, you're just rushing, you're thinking, okay, this is more important, everything is more important. But at one point, your body, like if there's stuck trauma, it will knock on your door, because it's like this energy that is with you. It's this stuck energy, and it's now finally ready to open up again. And it is what I love in your shares as well. It starts with having compassion for ourselves, because when we can have compassion for our physical illness, for the things that are happening in our mind, the thoughts that we're having, or suddenly there is this ease that happens, and this softness. And in the softness, we can zoom out, because I think that's an important key as well. You say pause. We almost never do that. Just pause for a moment, because then you zoom out, you step out of the contraction, out of the control, and suddenly flow can take over, and suddenly ease and softness. And in that, things really start to shift. And sometimes it takes a while before the physical things, but already in energy, in the acknowledgement of what is happening, instead of making everything else more important. Like, this is like the only thing we have in this lifetime. It is why we're here, this body, our uniqueness, but it's also our vessel, and we really need to honor it, because otherwise it's preventing us from fully experiencing life. And that is sometimes also facing, not being afraid for our own shadows, not being afraid for our own emotions, for our own trauma. And that's what I love in your story as well, because as you created these beautiful books, you honored yourself, and you really said, okay, yes, I see you at the depths of my being, and I'm also empowering, and I'm sharing it with others. I'm no longer afraid of this part. I'm no longer judging it. This is who I am. This is my journey. I own it. And in that, you get to inspire others to do the same. So I love that. I don't know if Rhonda has any questions, because I saw her writing sometimes. Otherwise, I keep asking questions, but I have many more. Yes.
Well, you're asking all the same questions that I would ask anyways, Kim. So you're just go with it. I'll ask her the 3 questions at the end. I just love the flow. So
yes, yeah,
it's excellent.
I really love it. Yeah. But with everyone like tuning in, like if they're in a situation that is not really healthy, or that's not really like, what would you suggest them? What has helped you to step out of a situation of abuse, or out of were things that really helped you?
I think the number one thing, if anybody's in a situation like I was, every story is different. Just take the time for yourself. Don't listen to the outside voices. You know when it's right. There was a lady that a long time ago, she said, when you have enough shit and the shit sandwich, you're gonna leave the shit. But only you can leave when you're ready. You have to be ready, and you have to know within yourself. That inner child, that inner being will know, okay, this is enough. Like there's people that will stay in a relationship for 1 year because it's bad. Then there's other ones that will stay in it for 25 years, 50 years. It's because of what they've been told, by the outside world. For me, it took 4 priests and my grandmother to tell me, do you want to be in a pine box or do you want to live, girl? And I'm like, Grandma, I want to live. And she's like, then you run. And that's what I did in 2005 is I ran, and I never looked back. And I was married for 16 years to a monster. And today, if he would knock on my door, I would probably let him in. Would I trust him? No, but I would still let him in, because he is the father of 2 of my children. And I've come a long way with my healing journey to know that maybe he has his own story, and maybe what he did, I'm not justifying any of the abuse that he did to me. But maybe he had a story that nobody listened to as well. And he didn't know how to release it. He didn't know how to get the help. And I hope, if he's watching, because I do know he watches me, I hope that you heal yourself, and I hope that you take the time and journey. You are loved, you are a person as well. But we all need to take the steps to heal ourselves, and to get out of those situations. It took me a long time. It took me 29 shelters and over 600 beatings to get out of my relationship. And for child abuse, I was telling everybody, and everybody was like, he just loves you more. You're just a special one. And then it was not just him, it was another one that would, and so I kind of felt like, okay, this is what this family does. This is what love is, right? So as I got older, that's what I looked at in men, was that kind of relationship. And I was like, well, this is what they gave me when I was a child. This is what I need to get as an adult, until I learned that this is not love. This is not healthy, you know, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work to really look at yourself, you know, like you said, Kim, like the reflection of ourselves, right? Looking in that mirror and saying, oh, maybe there's something in me that needs to change. Maybe I need to change me and my thoughts and the way that I'm thinking, you know. Um, but abuse is not something that is mindset. You don't go into any form of any type of abuse and say, you know what, I want you to hurt me. I want you to use me. I want you to take advantage of. We don't do that, you know. So and that's number one thing, is get educated. Another thing that I tell a lot of people is, don't speak on a situation you've never lived, because you're doing more damage. You're actually silencing the ones that are living with it, and making it harder for us to get the services and get the real help that we need, because you're speaking on something you've never lived and you're telling us how to heal it when you haven't experienced it. So that does a lot more damage in the end. You know, I always say this: don't ask me to speak on something I've never lived, because my answer is going to be no. I'm not going to, because I know how it feels when someone speaks on something they haven't lived, and I do live with it. Um, you know, but just take the time to reflect on yourself. Journal a lot. You know, that's what saved me a lot with my journey, with my life, is journaling. Just buying little notebooks at the dollar store and a little funky pencil or pen, you know, just make yourself feel happy. And when I lived by myself for a couple of years, I used to buy myself a rose every month. It was my celebration thing. My counselor told me, you know, celebrate yourself, celebrate your beauty. What makes you happy? Well, blue roses. And then she had told me one time to buy a red rose. And I said, oh God, no, those we don't buy, because those are a trigger for me. So anybody that knows me knows, don't buy Miss Liz any red roses, because, but my sister told me this when my grandma passed, because we went to get flowers for um, her celebration at the graveyard, and the store only had red roses, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't buy these. And my sister said, you have to get over this fear. This rose is not the issue.
Yeah.
You know. So I bought those red roses, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was like, I'm gonna get emotional, because for me, my ex-husband would always buy me red roses after he cheated. So I was just like, oh, you did it again. You know. So for me, it was a trigger. It was a re-traumatize, you know. Oh, okay, somebody's giving me a red rose, oh, they're gonna hurt me. So I didn't want it. But doing that, buying those roses for my grandma, when she passed, that was me moving on, and no longer giving the power to that red rose that I had for so many years. But I don't encourage people to buy me red roses.
No, I get that. No.
If you want to buy roses, buy blue, because blue roses are they mean new beginnings, love at first sight. And love at first sight is not just a relationship. It's love at first sight for the sunshine, you know,
Yes.
experiences, love at first sight adventures. You know, we don't have to stick everything always together.
No.
So for me, that's what it is. Blue roses. My kids know that. They know that blue roses mean a lot to mom, and it encourages mom to try new stuff.
Yeah.
So, I was going to ask you, I know this is the last season of your podcast. What are you doing in the future? What's your tea going to look like? Where are your tea parties going next?
Well, Rhonda, I'm glad that you asked me that, because I want to be the voice. I want to set the example. And Miss Liz is burnt out. Miss Liz has done over 400 interviews in 5 years. I have showed up even in pain, where I do an interview and then right after I'm done, I'm in bed. Nobody sees that. I want all of the other podcasters out there to know that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a different path. It's okay to open another avenue. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing something different. We're still going to stay connected to the guests. So the guests are not getting rid of Miss Liz, because I've said this to all of my guests. You're with me before, during, and after. So what we're going to do is we're going to start something different. We're going to create something different. So people have to just pay attention in 2025. Little nuggets will be dropped, but Miss Liz is going to pause a lot in 2025. Miss Liz is going to go MIA a lot. And that's the message I want to give everybody else. It's okay to take a break from social media. It's okay to take a break from family. It's okay to take a break from a relationship. Take time for you. Set the example you want for yourself, because at the end of the day, it starts with you and it ends with you. And I'm going to open some doors. We're going to open some doors, and we're going to come really different. Miss Liz is going to bring some different to the table. And anybody who has done an interview with Miss Liz is going to also be connected for the upcoming stuff that's coming. So we're going to open a lot of new doors and a lot of connections and a lot of flow. I want people to understand that tea is not a beverage. It's the dots in life. It's that invisible thread that we connect one another together. And it's okay to pause. It's okay to take a break. And it's okay to say, you know what? I need to charge my cup so I can charge your cup, so we can serve a better party, and we can bring stronger messages of unity, spirituality, mind over matter. Let's start really getting deep, strong teas out there. And I want everyone to take the teas that I've served and share them. Keep sharing them. In season 1 to season 5, if there's a tea that you enjoyed and you know, or you want to be connected to that guest, reach out and I will do that. It's all about connection for me. It's all about community. It's all about gathering. And that's what a tea party is. You add all those 3 things together and you have an awesome party. Come as you are. You can dress up. You can wear your hats. You can wear your makeup. You can dress up like Miss Liz is today. Do what makes you feel good. Yeah. And when you're feeling down, make yourself feel good. Just encourage yourself. Pat yourself on the back once in a while too. That's something I'm learning. My counselor has told me to pat myself on the back. It's okay. It's not ego. It's being seen and heard for the transformation that I've made, for the journey that I've taken and the steps I've taken. I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to have all the answers. I come as a roller coaster. I live with mental illness. I'm an abuse survivor. I have my ups and downs. And I think that it's important that we start sharing real tea, and sometimes when you make a cup of tea, you put a tea bag in and it's no good. And that's what life is. Some stuff is just no good. So you start again, you pour it out and you make another cup. And that's what I'm going to be doing in 2025 is I'm going to be making new cups in new ways.
I love that. It's so important because it's really returning to ourselves and loving ourselves and honoring our energy and because I think in a way that's the essence. We're being invited to go within, and that's what you're doing. The pause, the stop, and then we feel the connectedness. Then we suddenly feel like we're not only in this limited box and we're not only this, but we're so much more. But sometimes also, also in our healing journey, like we sometimes are so focused on where we want to go and we keep running and we keep, okay, no, this is another thing that I want to heal, I want to overcome. But in that, we never take the time to look back to see what we already have had, the resilience, the power that we needed to survive where we came from. And it's really sometimes taking these moments of, okay, to really, and I love that because honoring your, like, that is also an old paradigm way. Honor yourself. Like, you are amazing, powerful. Like, let all of that out because like in that, you have more to give to others. So it's really an old paradigm way where we say, okay, this is like selfish, or this is no, love yourself, honor yourself, give yourself beautiful blue roses each month because you deserve it. Everyone deserves it. Why? Like, this needs to be your best friend. This needs to be all like love. So why not share that in a beautiful way? So I'm looking forward to seeing what is unfolding in 2025 when you're taking a step back, because in that also inspiration comes in again, but it's being willing to do so. Yes, Rhonda, I saw your...
No, it's great. The recharging is good. And we, even on Spirit Sessions, have decided we're taking the month of December off. So, and that we went every season, like 52 episodes every year for 6 years before we decided, oh, we need a break at least part way through that season. So yeah, it makes, and then we come back with new energy. I think when you take a break, then you come back with new energy, whether it's a break that you're changing things and you add more energy to that situation, and fill your own cup first.
But
Always is the
that's the message, right, Rhonda? Is we have to fill our own cups in order to serve cups. It's like when you have somebody come to your home. If you're not filling up to having that guest, well, you're going to be a rotten.
host.
It's going to be a rotten host. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to stay very long because you're not in a good mood. Like I'm going, I just kind of drop this off and I'll go. Well, that's kind of like how society is, right? That's how the virtual world is right now. Is everybody's getting burnt out because nobody's pausing. Everybody's just go, 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 go. We're getting so much thrown at us, so much information thrown at us, so much systems and programs and organizations thrown at us. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. It's just like, whoa, I need a break. It's like that sugar cookie at the tea party. Break it and say, oh, and that's what my Oma taught me at the age of 4 was, recharge yourself, girl. And
Sure.
you're not always going to make everybody happy because you're recharging yourself. I have people that are mad at me because I'm closing the podcast, and I'm just like, but it's still there.
It's always there.
You can still serve those cups that were already there. You can still reach out to my guests. You still can connect. It's just Miss Liz is going to a different thing. And why are you mad at me because I'm pausing? Is it because you're not pausing? Because there's a lot of reflecting. Because usually what upsets us is something that lives within the other person.
Oh, absolutely.
That we're seeing. We're like, oh my God, like you're really ticking me off today. Okay, well, whoa. What is it about them that's ticking you off?
Yeah.
Are they doing something that you want to do, but you're too chicken to do it?
Yeah.
I knew I was going to burn out. I knew in season 4, because season 4 I did 161 shows. Morning, afternoon, and evening. And then I said, season 5, okay, I'm going to do less. And I had told myself right from the get-go, okay, 100 episodes, that's it. Well, I'm going to be at 127. 27 extra got in there. So you know what I mean? It's just like you have to learn to stick with the pause, because if you don't, you're going to burn out. And who's going to take care of you when you burn out?
Yeah. It reminds me of the card we started with, the void.
The void. Absolutely.
It's the space of creation. It's also, well, what I like, sometimes we think, okay, I need to be productive. But taking a pause is part of the productivity. It's honoring the cycles. Also, if you see the moon, if you see everything in nature, everything has a cycle, but there's a cycle, like the winter season. And that's even also part of growth, of expansion, of creating something new. There's always a part where the inspiration comes in and then it needs to grow, just like in our belly when we have a beautiful baby. It needs to grow. It has its time. We can't see it yet. But that space is even as important as that we take the aligned action, both of them. So it's really, sometimes we are so focused on, okay, action, doing. But sometimes even the most powerful things happen in the void, in the nothingness, in not knowing, in taking a pause, in being still, because then we're really open. We're not forcing, our mind is not creating this 10-step plan that we need to go. No, then we're really receptive to, okay, show me in this now moment. How can I honor myself? How can I honor my next steps? So I think that's so an important journey. And especially now in our half of the world, at least, we're going into winter. Honor that. Go into your own.
That's what Samhain's all about. Is honoring the pause.
Yes.
Honoring the pause in nature, honoring the pause in our seasons.
Well, that's exactly what pause is, right? It's the releasing.
Yes.
The winter fall, the trees fall, the leaves fall, but they come back. If nature can take a pause and fall apart and come back in the spring and grow again, why can we not as human beings do the same thing? Why can we not take that spiritual pause and say, you know what? I need to release. And releasing is not always a bad thing. It's a good thing. And when you can really see that in the reflection that this pause needs to happen, that's a really good transformational growth within yourself. If somebody would have said, Miss Liz, well, you're going to be doing podcasting for the next 20 years, probably, yeah. If you would have asked me in season 5, it would be, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it forever. But you know what? it's a time and a journey to say, you know what else is out there? What else
Yeah.
can be created? Let's get those creative minds working together and let's bring something different, you know?
Yeah.
Podcasting has brought so many people together, so many communities, so many countries together that people are not even paying attention to that. And I'm watching it and I'm saying, did you understand why you were connected to that person? Like my grandma always tells me, do you know why you got that guest? No. Yes, you do. So we have to take that pause in order to understand why we're connected to that person. And only at this time. Like we were supposed to have this in August and I was at the sunflower field and I was like, oh, it's not good connection over here. This is not going to be good. It was like my Oma was saying, not the right time.
Yeah. This is
You
much
know,
better. Well,
this
talking,
is,
it just falls in the right place right now.
Yes.
and that's what life is all about is, taking that pause. And when you have tea time, you pause.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you hear the word tea, and this is Miss Liz playing with everybody's mind. When I say tea, you think of a beverage right away. You don't think of a personal journey. You don't think of transformation, attitude, examples. You don't think of those things. You think of a beverage. So right away, Miss Liz has you connected. I have you thinking a cup. Okay, well, give me your cup. What's in
Yeah.
your, and Kim knows this. I ask everybody, what is your T? So what TEA do you give Miss Liz? Is it transformation, empowerment, action? Is it trauma, added example and attitude? It can change from every day. My biggest T in life is teaching educational awareness. And for me, it's teaching that my past cannot define who I am as a person. My present is the education to get myself educated because I couldn't get the education in my past because education was not important in my family. It was you get married, you have babies, and you carry on with life. And don't you dare go to school as an adult because that's an insult. You should have stayed in school when you were a child. It was always mixed messages growing up. In the future, your life can change at any time. Be aware that one door might change your whole entire life, but you have to be aware of that door. And it's okay to say no to some doors too, as well. Some doors come and it's like, oh, this is too good to be true. What's really behind this door? It's like that red rose, right? You open the
Yeah.
door, there's a red rose. Well, I don't want the red rose. I want the blue rose. But maybe that one red rose is what's going to change my life. But I'm not ready because, like you said, Kim, oh, well, I don't need to deal with that right now. Oh, no, that's not as bad as it seems. And no, that'll pass.
Mhm.
It'll give it a few months and it'll pass. But maybe you need that red rose. And maybe that's what Miss Liz needs is a red rose for myself, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't buy myself red roses. I will buy red with white on it, red with orange, but I will not buy red. Um, but maybe I will in the future. We don't know. That's a healing journey that only, but it goes back to all the three R's: the recharging, reflecting, releasing, you know, recharging my cup, reflecting that I need change in my life, and releasing and letting the podcast go. Uh, it opened doors, and now it's time to open new doors in new ways.
I love that. Yeah. And it's
It's
in the
awesome.
yeah. No, yeah, and it's in the now moments, it's in the stillness that we can recognize what the next steps are. We can recognize the wisdom because sometimes also we create things and we don't even see the profoundness of what we created because we're so rushing to the next project or the next thing. And it's really in the stillness that we can see, okay, wow, like you shared, like the podcast, having so many guests on, but the connections that happen beyond the episode, the weaving of networks. There's so much like also in energy that happens when we're like this podcast as well. How many people did it reach? How many souls did it empower and connected? And there's so much magic. And sometimes we lose touch of the sacredness of life, of everything, the sacredness of the sun coming up, the sacredness of our waking up each morning, the magic of how our body, how our body works. And just like there's so much I think in our podcast we shared, but the wonder, coming back to the wonder of everything. We so take everything for granted and we just keep in the rush of the rat race of life. But it's magical that we get to connect this way. It's magical that I get to wake up each day and that I can enjoy the sun and that there are birds and rainbows and all of that. When we it's really coming back to honor that. And in that honoring, really recharge, because then we're in this energy of gratitude instead of, and then we heal because we see like, okay, the wounded parts are inner child. Okay, I acknowledge you. I know it was tough, but I love you. Come here. And in that, things start to shift and things start to. So I think it's really a powerful message for November. Recharge, reflect, releasing. And I think it's for every one of us a beautiful time to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So Liz, we're coming to our 3 questions, and
okay.
we gave you a little bit. I'll give you the easy one first. Do you like crystals, and do you have any gemstones or crystals that you particularly love right at this point in time?
I do have crystals. There's some crystals in my room right now, in my tea room. There's some in my bedroom. There's some in my living room. It depends on my mood, but I'm really attracted to the tiger eye, because for me the tiger represents being underestimated, and a lot of people underestimate me with a lot of things that I do. So I'm really drawn to the tiger eye. I'm also drawn to the greens and the blues and that as well. It depends on my mood and the surroundings that I'm in. I believe that it's important to have crystals in our home, and from time to time I have a bunch of crystals on me right now for strength. So and today I just felt like purple was really calling me. And I don't like purple. My sister is the purple girl. She'll be saying, yeah, because my sister, when she got married, she wore purple, and I was a bridesmaid, and she was like, you have to, I don't like. So, you do things you don't like sometimes for the people you love, and today I just felt like purple was calling me, and I was just like, oh, okay, we're doing pretty in purple, are we?
Yeah.
It's a lot of self-talk with myself, a lot. I do reflections in the mirror a lot. I write messages on my mirror, then I erase them. I've taught my grandkids to write on my living room window with markers, window markers, and they write little messages and create arts. And I think that it's really important to take the strength from the crystals and open up the avenues of connection, because each crystal will call you for a different reason. It will reach out to you in a different way. I have a salt lamp that Kim has, like in the back room. I have it over here. And before we started, I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot to turn my salt lamp on. And it actually changes colors. So it plays with my moods. I'm a big person on crystals for moods. Yeah. Whatever my mood is the crystal that I'll go to. It's like your background, Rhonda. It feels like a crystal calling me. Like, see, there's purple and blues and greens in it, and that's what I just felt like it's calling as a calming of recharging and reflecting and releasing. It goes right back to those 3 R's. My Oma was a smart lady. Like, she taught me well with words. And I think it's really important that we put that message out there for our children. Use words to express ourselves, especially with emotions. Crystals have a lot of emotions as well. Get those emotions out there. Give them a crystal and ask them what they feel.
Yeah.
Is it cold? Is it warm? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Have those conversations. Crystals, yeah. So I do have crystals, and every day it's a different crystal for me, Rhonda. Okay. So it depends on the mood.
We all get that, I think. Yes.
we all have our favorites. Yes.
Yes.
And it depends which one calls you today. Exactly. So right now, what would you say the theme song is to your life? If you were like, I know it changes all the time, but do you have a particular song that you go, oh, that's my theme song right now?
Well, my theme song since I was little is Stand Back Up. When I heard the song, I wasn't little when I heard it, because it came out when I was a little older. And it's by Sugarland. And it's talking about the bruises, being kicked down, but still standing back up, still getting that back up again and doing it again. And, my family, some of my family, they hate me for that, because I get back up. And they're like, stay down. I'm like, nope, I will not stay down for you. It's just like with my ex-husband, stay down. No, I'm not staying down. I'm coming back up. I might be down for a while, but when I get back up, you better run. You better let me do what I need to do. and it shows determination as well in that song. Don't let life define your story. And if you listen to it by Sugarland, it's stand by and stand back up. Um, Another one is I'm Not Giving Up by Andy Grammer. You know, I'm not giving up yet, guys. I might just be taking a pause, but I'm not giving up. I don't believe in giving up. I just believe in pausing. So
Beautiful.
I'm just trying to find it on here when I look at it. Yeah, I found it. Okay. So I was just looking for the song. So that's cool. So the last question, one of my favorites, and yeah, it's October. So it's end of October, beginning of November. So it's UFO season out here. Have you seen a UFO recently or in your life, or, extra dimensional intelligence? Have you had experience with that?
well, for all the listeners, before you start freaking out, I've said this since I was a little girl. I don't believe that I'm on the right planet. I don't believe I'm home. I believe that I come from another planet. Some might say you're crazy, Miss Liz, but you know what? I don't feel at home. I feel like I need to go home at times. And I travel in my dreams. I travel in my sleep. I see my siblings. I see my children that are not my living children here. I have other children. I have different, you know, I I believe that there is life out there. I believe that there's more. I know there is more. I've seen them in my dreams. I've seen them in messages, scents, smells. Um, I've had encounters where you have a lot of deja vu. You like, I seen this before. Where did I see this before? You know, and I'm really drawn to aliens and UFOs and the spiritual world and connection. And I always want to know more. Like, I want to have deeper conversations. I want to know why you feel that, or where the names come from. Like, how do you create the name? Like, or some names sound familiar. And I'm just like, how come I know this name? Have I heard this name somewhere else? You know, and I think that's opening and pausing again. It goes right back to that recharging our afterlives, because I believe in reincarnation as well. And my last life is going to be a cricket. Why? Because I can't stand the things. So I know that that's going to be my last life. I'm going to be that cricket on the ground trying to understand why I've got so much anger towards that cricket. It goes right back to, why do I have so much fear of the red rose? You know? So yeah, I think when we really pause and really take time, and we don't care what people think of us, because people will judge. They will be like, oh my God, she's weird. What is she talking about? What is this conversation about? Well, you know what? The ones that get it will get it. The ones that don't, don't. Uh, you know, but I really want to be that example of showing that I'm different. I am who I am. I believe what I believe. That doesn't make me a bad person. I'm not going to go out and hurt anybody. I don't have any aliens behind me that are coming to get you guys. But just be you, and just keep serving your tea. Serve the real you. Show your ups, show your downs. We're going to change the world by being real and raw. You know, I think it's time that the new 2025 is coming. It's time to recharge, reflect, and release, and open and close doors if you have to. Open and close chapters in your life if you have to. And some will hurt and some will be good journeys. But I think that's what we really need to do. We just need to start serving real life tea.
Thank you so much for being on today. And Kim, have you got any last things you want to say to Elizabeth? It's Gagnon, right? Is it Gagnon? Gagnon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Hey, I can't even speak half the words. Yeah, never the names in Dutch, and it's one of the hardest languages in the world. And you speak English better than most people do. You can hear. So I'm not. Gagnon is one of those names that, yeah, it's not phonetic. You know that because of the chocolates.
I think it's really beautiful what you shared, and I think everyone, it's time to express yourself in ways that are aligned to you, to express your voice. I think, and that can already be like as you share journaling, because in the journaling, beautiful things happen. So I really honor you for rising each time, because in that you are an example for others, and by you expressing your truth, even though it's challenging, even though because by that you're also giving others a voice. So I honor you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 T is going to look like. And I would say to everyone, check out your books on Amazon and all the different platforms where they can buy it, and check out your teas because there are many. So, and yeah, please follow, like, and subscribe also Spirit Sessions, because and share with us in the comments if you're looking at the replay as well, what sparked for you and what helped you in your journey. Because again, it's the beautiful connections that happen through that. So thank you.
Yeah, and I want to say also check out Kim's site. She has a free card of the day there. She also has some wonderful books on Amazon. So go in and give them a review, and 5-star review, because it helps push all those things. Because the world needs more light. The world needs more Kims and Elizabeths in our worlds, just showing their light on everyone. So that reflection of light, so we can see the light in ourselves. So take care, everyone. Thanks. Thanks, Elizabeth.
See you next time.
Oops.